Thanks for tuning into this week's Pizza Social. I'm Haley.
And I'm Jolene.
And this is our first podcast, so bear with us because we're probably going to stumble through the dark for a little bit.
And I feel like we should introduce this chair.
Oh yeah, this is going to creak the whole time. We're in this really rinky-dinky, jail cell.
It's basically the bowels of a library.
It's really hot.
We're hotboxed in this tiny room next to somebody tutoring someone.
And we're really close to each other, so...
We don't want to border on the inappropriate because we think they can hear us, but we also want to.
I hope they can hear us. That kid's going to get an education listening to us. Anywho. So, yes, as we said, this is our first podcast, and normally we would like to start the podcast eating pizza, but we found out the cafeteria doesn't have pizza.
They don't have pizza. What kind of library is this?
I know, right?
Okay, but honestly, I was looking in their refrigerator, and they, sell spaghetti.
But no pizza.
You can sell spaghetti and not pizza. What is... They need to reevaluate themselves on their menu.
I feel like that's just shitty priorities.
That's just shitty priorities. That just means you're not lifing right, basically. Yeah. So we can't have pizza. We can't have nice things. But at least Haley got her Dr. Pepper.
Because apparently that's my lifeblood.
That's her life source. And, I don't know. I guess now we should probably introduce ourselves. Do you want to go first?
Sure. I'm Haley. God, what do you say about yourself? Okay, so I'm Haley. I'm a writer. I work from home. I have rabbits, and I'm kind of, I guess, what you would call a crazy cat lady, but I'm married. So a crazy cat lady, but for rabbits.
Not to a cat.
No.
We should specify she's not married to a cat.
Rabbit. No, to a grown man.
To an actual person.
To a grown man.
She's not married.
Not a child.
But Golden Girls did pop up on her laptop when she turned it on today.
I can't help it. I am straight up Dorothy, okay? Straight up Dorothy.
I'm Jolene. I am a writer as well. I work a lot and I read a lot and I have 2 doggy children and I'm also probably the equivalent of an old cat lady but with dogs.
Oh, totally. 100%.
Right before we started, I was showing her pictures of my dog spooning. So for a little background, that's literally what my Instagram is just dogs and sunsets. Yeah. But mainly dogs.
And anytime I see something that has to do with dogs and I think that Jolene's having a bad day, I just shoot her a picture of that and immediately she just, she melts.
I melt. Not in real life. I'm not made of chocolate.
If you were, you wouldn't be sitting here right now. You'd be gone. Well, if anything, not because I would eat you, but because this room is fucking hot.
I'd like to think that you'd eat me. This is getting weird.
Okay, so, on to the story of how we met. Here's a little background on us 2 crazy girls. So, we're in our 20s. I'm not going to say what part of our 20s, because the lady never reveals her age. But we're in our 20s. We met at a certain point in our 20s a while ago. And Jolene does not remember how we met. I found this out while we were talking about making a podcast.
Hold on. I knew, the building. I knew the building. Okay, go on.
Okay. Well, to my dismay, she does not remember. Me over here, fangirling, talking about how we met. We used to work for a, what we will call a large retail electronics store, and I had applied for a job there, and Jolene did my phone interview, and if you haven't been able to tell by now, Jolene has the voice of a very cute 4-year-old girl. Ah! And when she did my phone interview, I seriously thought I was being trolled. I did not honestly think that someone was interviewing me, or that it was a legitimate phone interview for that matter, but in any case, I found out that her last name coincided with my first name. I'm not going to explain that. And I immediately knew that I wanted to be best friends forever. And then I met her, and she was just outlandishly crazy and very, very, very strange, which is my type of person. So that's how we met. I decided I was going to make her my best friend, and here we are. Not too far away from our early 20s, but somewhere in the 20 region.
I'd like to say that the creeping was mutual.
Aww.
I met Haley, and I remember, I don't necessarily remember the moment we met. I remember doing your interview, and I remember, like, where we were working, but, like, the moments and interactions, no. But I just remember I was like, this girl's pretty awesome and funny and crazy.
Oh.
And, two peas, one pod story, whirlwind romance of hiring, and
The stars aligned, and here we are today.
here we are today. Not hetero life partners.
Hetero life partners, yes. We are not holding hands on the table. Actually, we might be.
My leg is kind of leaning towards yours, though, so if at any point you want to lean back, we're touching.
This is
I
happening.
liked it.
So this is actually one of many jobs that Jolene and I have had together, actually. We're just going to segue into that, even though I'm looking at our outline and I'm going way to the bottom. Woo! Going rogue. Yeah, so we worked for a large retail electronics store. What was the next place we worked for, Jolene?
We'd like to call this one 2 demos, 1 building. We'll explain later.
And then shortly after that, we moved on to a home builder. We can't tell you which one.
We can't tell you which one, but it sounds like an airline.
Yeah.
So
if you want to Google that, just, have fun. Anywho.
So our favorite thing about these, like, working a shit job really sucks. It really sucks. But it helps if you have someone there to kind of deal with the crazy and talk to and, like, run over to the second you've caught someone looking at porn in the cubicle of someone that looks like you.
Which happened in my first month of working at 2 demos, 1 building.
So maybe let's start at the top. So at our large retail electronics store job, let's talk about some of the crazy shit that happened there.
We had a manager that had sex with someone in the meeting room, and they got investigated and fired, and...
Oh, yeah, that was really interesting, yeah. Apparently, I can't believe this, but apparently you're not allowed to bang your underage employees.
Oh, God.
In a corporate meeting room, which, by the way, I've sat at, and I'm pretty sure wasn't properly cleaned afterwards.
Yeah, we had meetings on those tables.
And we may never be the same. Some things you just can't unthink, you know?
So after we found out that happened, did you go get tested? Because I totally did. I'm clean.
Let's just say that the burning sensation was totally normal, but with the proper medication.
And on that vein, I was not involved in this, and neither was Jolene. We just happened to hear about it, as employees like to talk about stuff. But there were also rumors on several occasions circling about what indiscretions I was having, which was news to me. So I'm sure anyone who's ever worked in a retail setting knows that if you work with people for too long in close proximity, they will make stuff up about you.
Well, especially, I don't know. I mean, I guess I shouldn't say it, but it's like, we worked with mainly men, and I feel like you and I get along with men well.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you get along with men well, and you're working and you're around them all the time,
yeah,
rumors start to circle if you spend too much time with anyone in particular.
People think you're a whore.
A whore.
Yeah.
But the problem is that sometimes people just mistake being friendly and nice, which we are sometimes.
We're always friendly and nice.
With being a whore. We are. We always get in the worst situations because we're too polite to be like, fuck off, mate.
Yeah. We're done talking here.
I mean, honestly, I know of at least 2 stories Haley has told me since we hung out recently where she constantly gets ditched in a Bevmo, stuck with somebody.
Thank you. Shout out to my husband, who thinks it's hilarious to leave me when strange people strike up conversations with me, you dick. Not cool.
Personally, I'm just looking for that opportunity in this library. Who knows? You know?
Just wait till it happens. You're gonna regret every minute of it.
No regrets, bruh.
Whatever.
So, I know we were going to talk about, like, shitty parts of working for the large retail electronics store, but I figured I'd tell you one of my favorite stories from working here. So
wait, you remember? What?
So I have a horrible memory. Like, it's really bad. I can not tell you what I had for dinner 2 nights ago, but I can, like, quote a Backstreet Boys song from the 90s, so that...
I can't believe she's admitting that out loud, so this is a real treat, guys. Relish it.
You're lucky I didn't say Hanson because I have all of their albums too. And I listen to the Christmas album when it's not even December. So, suck it.
I feel like every Christmas I send you that album. Like the start of the Christmas season is me sending the Spotify link to Hanson Snowden to let you know it's socially acceptable to
That's
listen to Christmas music.
that's how I know it's socially acceptable, but that doesn't mean I haven't been doing it privately by myself, locked in the bathroom with the lights off and the candles lit for months.
It's pretty intense.
So literally, in like by the time I'm 60, I probably won't remember anything, and I'll be being spoon-fed applesauce because of my poor memory and social
Mama.
skills. But my favorite retail electronics store story is this one. Let me premise it by saying that if you've ever worked for an electronics store and you have a vagina, you will soon find out that nobody fucking believes anything that you say because they all think you're too dumb.
Yep. Uh-huh.
So I was a supervisor of my department of pretty much all men because, for the most part, we had a large amount of male applicants. So they're all being trained because it's like Christmas season, so everyone's pretty much new, and I'm the only one that's been there like 5 years. So this lady walks up to me and she's like, hey, I have a really important question. She's, I don't know, like probably like 60-ish. I'm like, okay. And she's like, well, so this iPod, and she's like holding a box. She's like, it's pretty light. I'm like, yeah. She's like, okay, but I'm concerned. So how heavy does this get when it's full? And I'm like at first I think she's joking.
Did
I'm
that
like,
really happen?
I swear to God,
Oh my
it happened.
God.
So I'm like, I burst out laughing. That was my response because I'm like thinking,
You think she's
this old
trolling
woman
you?
is trolling me and well done. Like, so I just start laughing. She like deadpans and she's like, if you don't know, I'll just ask someone else. She's clearly offended at my laughery because clearly I'm not smart or knowledgeable at that point. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were just joking. So it doesn't actually get heavier as it becomes fuller. It's just a digital memory. So, it's going to remain the same weight. And she looks at me and her eyes narrow. And I can see that she's like
Not believing
snake
you.
slithering at me like, who this bitch? Who is she? Like, and like we're like locking eyes kind of in a Western showdown. And I'm like, and she looks at me and she's like, oh, so you're saying that it gets fuller and more stuff is on it, but it doesn't get heavier. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes. And she's like,
Precisely.
okay, well, I know for a fact that if you put something in something else, it gets heavier. So I'm like, I don't know what to do at this point. I'm like looking around like, where's Ashton? Where's Ashton? I'm getting punked.
I'm being punked.
That's too much of an old reference, I
John
think. But
Quinones, where are you?
yeah, I'm like, okay, no, like, so I try to level with her, like, no, ma'am, I'm sorry, like, I know the logic is there, it sounds crazy, but it doesn't actually get heavier. It's a digital memory, nothing gets heavier. The weight that you're holding now is the weight that it will always be. And she's like, okay, and she throws her hands up and she nods her head and she's like, thank you, I'm done. I'm gonna go ask someone else, thank you. And she she like storms off. She's upset with me because she is certain that I have just not only lied to her, but laughed in her face. And I don't know. I feel like if looks could kill, I would probably be 6 feet under. That's probably one of my most memorable, not one of the best, but one of the funniest, kind of.
Definitely not uncommon. I remember working in the computers department and having a guy tell me I didn't know what I was talking about because he insisted Windows, the operating system, was different on an Acer than it was on a Sony. And I just kind of looked at him and I was like, huh? It's an operating system. It's not like you're comparing like a Mac operating system to a Windows operating. Yes, those are two different things, sir. Correct. Those are two different things. But Windows 8 on an Acer is no different than Windows 8 on a Sony. So, I mean, if you don't understand that, if you can't Google, like, if you don't understand the Googles, I can't help you. You're just beyond reason.
If you work for a electronics store or a place that sells anything that has a button that turns on, like, you will know that 99% of the questions that you are asked are Googleable.
Googleable,
They're
totally.
Googleable. Or like I used to, at the time I was a supervisor of a department, and this guy comes up to me and I'm with someone else, and this guy comes up to me and he's like, hey, this is at the time where I was part of a camera department, and he's like, hey, I want to know if this memory card works with this camera. And I can hear him asking one of my new people. I think it was like their second day working in the building. They didn't know anything. And at the time I had like literally just ended with a buyer. And so I turn to him and I go to help him, and he throws up his hands and he says, "No thanks. I'll wait for one of them." And he literally points to all the other guys in the department. And all of the guys are with people. They're
Douchebag.
all with people. And he doesn't know this, but I'm their supervisor. And they're all new. They're all seasonal employees. It's their second day on the job. And he's like, "No, I'm the only one free," but he doesn't want me to help him because he doesn't believe that I will know the right answer.
What a
Which,
tool.
if he had just looked at the box of what he was holding, he could see that it clearly said fucking SD card.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, come on. So then, anyway, he literally waited 15 minutes for one of the guys in my department to get free while I was standing there. And then this is the best part, he goes up to one of them, a guy named John, and he's like, finally, when he was free, he's like, "Hey, does this work for this camera?" John's response, "I don't know, I'm new, ask her." And he points to me, and the guy looks at me, and like all the blood drains from his face, and then he's like, I don't know. And I turned to him and I was like, "I don't think I can help you. I mean, you didn't want me to, so I don't know if I can answer it." And he just kind of like looked at me and walked away. It's like, what is wrong with people?
The sad part is, like, okay, I think we're pretty strong. Like, we're strong women. We can handle this. And we're used to it by now because we dealt with it in a large retail electronics store, but we definitely dealt with it in 2 demos, 1 building. Like, I feel like we need to transition into that
Oh my
because
God. We could have 35 podcast episodes just on the horrors that happen in this company.
we can have a podcast dedicated to what we did to each other, like all the random pranks we pull on each other, and then there would be a whole nother podcast dedicated to all of the terrible, soul-sucking, mentally debilitating stuff that happened to us there. So we lately touched on the fact that I caught one of our, was he a project manager? What was he?
He was like the vice president.
He was really high up in the company, and I went to go deliver like an invoice to him. He had to approve an invoice, and I walked around the corner into his cubicle, and there he was watching porn. Yeah, in the middle of the day, and I'm like, oh my God!
Like, he didn't even have a door. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
I don't know.
But remember the creepiest part? The girl in the porn looked like Haley.
Uh,
I'd like to bring that back to your mind, Haley. I'd like to think about that for a moment with you.
I'm gonna cry. You're undoing years of therapy. It was so terrible. And then, okay, I tell my boss, who was actually my then boyfriend's mother, just don't ever do that, ladies. If you really need a job, please never work for someone who could potentially be your mother-in-law, because you will find out all sorts of crazy that you just never wanted to find out, which is why we're not together anymore. But I told her, expecting her to, do the right thing. And apparently, this sort of behavior is totally acceptable in 2 demos, 1 building. And I have found out that in the construction, demolition, like, whole construction spectrum, it is normal. But, come on.
Like, we don't want to see it.
There was a bathroom with a lock. Take your smartphone in
And
the
a
bathroom.
shower.
And a shower. And a shower. Handle your shit somewhere else. I don't want to see that.
So one of my first days, I was doing accounting, and one of the project managers walked up, and this was a smaller demolition company, but they had, so there were 2 demos in one building, but
so one was union and one was non-union, which, haha, it's illegal. It's illegal. We did a lot of illegal stuff. Please don't find us. If you contact us wanting to arrest us, I'm more than happy to disclose who we worked for. We'll just sign him and her or whoever over. We were not responsible. So go on, Julie.
Well, one of my first days in the building, one of the project managers, I have to say this. So there were some good people that did work for that company. But most of the project managers were not.
We'll call the good people the 1%. They were the 1%.
And so this guy comes up and he's talking to me about invoices, and he's trying to mansplain to me how to do something and that I already knew how to do. And he has me lay out these invoices, and as he's speaking, he literally has this giant glob of spit fall from his lips, his cookie crusted lips.
Oh God.
and splatter across my arm, my forearm.
Ugh.
Like his bodily fluids were on me.
She is not making this up, by
It
the
was,
way.
and I'm not talking about like a small amount of spittle. Like I am talking about a large loogie size drop of mouth
Body
goop.
secretion.
Body secretion.
And this was not the only time this happened, because I had witnessed it several
No.
other times after this, though.
He spits when he talks too, but so it falls on my arm, and at the moment, if you guys could have seen my face, like my face twists up in horror and disgust, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna throw up at any moment. And instead of apologizing, he reaches down and he runs his hand across the spot where it like fell all over me and splattered, and he's like, "Oh, sorry," and he rubs it into my arm
Like it's moisturizer.
like it is a hand salve. He rubs it into my arm, mumbles something like, and then continues to mansplain to me. And all I can think about the entire time he's talking, I don't even hear words. I literally am just like, how do I get this off me without lighting myself on fire or pouring acid onto my arms or something? And like he literally kept me at my desk for 15 minutes after that happened, while the spit dried into my body, and
Probably
it was
repeating the same sentence but using different words. Kind of like the Swedish Chef, but less eloquent.
It was absolutely horrifying, and I literally still like want to die when I think about it.
I feel like we're gonna have to do a completely different podcast just dedicated to this one specific job, because literally this is what we could cover in that whole entire podcast. So we already covered VP that looks at porn. There's president who cheats on wife.
Yeah.
There's batting cages in the back. Don't even ask. There's late 30s bro man who still goes to spring break. I just can't. There's so many stories with that. And that same guy, spring break guy, booty calls. There were booty calls in the parking lot.
So he'd like pull up to go into the building, and he's hugging his last night fling goodbye in the parking lot because he had her park her car there. Like,
so awkward.
Ladies.
Then there was like a bumbling idiot that somehow made like as much as me and Jolene did combined, had a company car, and I think that we did everything for him except for wipe his ass, and we were like, Mike. Oh shit. Yeah, okay, his name is Mike. Fuck it. His name was Mike, and I'm not gonna say his last name, but you know what?
Short for Marvin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That guy he ended up getting fired, but damn. Okay.
Do you remember part of the reason he was fired?
No, why?
For getting caught playing Facebook games all day.
Oh, like Farmville, huh? Oh my
God.
Like
sometimes I come here, he's like, look at my castle. And I'd be like, it's pretty great castle, bro.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah,
you're like,
so...
Wait, do you have a moat? You don't have a moat? It's shitting. Sorry.
I tried to, like, ask him as many questions. I like castles, so I can talk castles all day, but I'm also, like, bro.
Responsible?
Bro. But, I have to say, though, he did do a few great things for me when I couldn't get stuff from other people, but, like, if you're getting fired for playing Facebook games all day...
That's pretty bad.
It's pretty awesome, I guess, but...
That would be a pretty low point,
But how genius of him, though, to be like, this is a sinking ship, and I'm just gonna be like, YOLO.
Playing Facebook games. But I would also like to point out, though, he partly got fired for playing Facebook games, but our VP, who was watching porn in the office, let's just say that again, watching porn openly in the office, did not get fired. I don't even think he got reprimanded, really.
No, he didn't.
Priorities.
Or what about the time when I used to have to do their expense reports, and one time one of the project managers put like $500 down, and I was like,
what's this for?
Like, what's this for? Like, I don't see a receipt here. Like, I can't account for this $500. Which, if anyone, you do expenses, you know that you basically take all the receipts, you match them to the amount you need to do, you add it up and you pay it. But, you need a receipt to prove what they're claiming. And his response is, well, hookers don't really give out receipts. He was not even joking.
Oh, and I think, didn't he ask you, what do you want me to do? Retrieve the dollars from her G-string?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember.
Yep.
There were so many things that I overheard that not even kidding, my asshole just puckered. I was like, am I allowed to hear that?
Like, at some point, it's like, is this really happening? And you, like, want to stop and, like, laugh / cry / rock back and forth in a corner because this can't possibly be happening to you. But then, like, part of it's funny because it's so absurd and you can't believe this is real life with real grown men and real grown people.
Which segues us to the home builder. We can't tell you which one, but it sounds like an airliner.
Vroom!
Vroom.
Wait, that's a car.
You made me do it. I totally just went along with you.
Yep. That happened.
So that job, I would say it wasn't as bad.
Yeah, but you work for literally the devil.
I did work for the devil. We called her Blonde Amazon, or I don't know, we had a lot of nicknames for her. She actually had a mini Me Too that was just absolutely terrible. Like, she would go around, and I think, so I guess when you reach management in a home building company, your job becomes shopping online, because that's all she ever did. Like, I'd walk past your cubicle and she'd be looking up, like, blinds, like,
And who looks at blinds?
calling the installer, what time are you gonna be there? Yeah, my daughter's gonna be there. Can you have her, like, answer the door? And I'm like, bitch, what are you doing? This is what we pay you for? Damn, I want to be a supervisor. Ugh, so ridiculous. And then, the devil, she, so strange. She acted like she cared, which I feel like is a lot of bosses these days, but God, she did not care. She was like the most soulless person I think I've ever met in my life, and I just, I want to cry for her terrible existence.
And her demon children.
She didn't have children.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I thought
no.
she was a mother.
No, thank God. Thank
I was
the
just thinking
Lord.
like little tiny demon babies. So I didn't actually work in Haley's department, so I didn't really see this. Like on the outside, you think, wow, these people look nice. They're smiling in the hall. They seem
Yeah.
like great people. And then one day, like one of our friends got fired, and she was literally like walking around smug smiling.
Yeah.
Well, our friend was like crying and packing up their stuff, and it's like if you can take pleasure in somebody else's pain like that and smirk and smile and just like literally like if she could have popcorn and shades and like chill and watch this person's misery, like she would have done it.
Yeah.
And that was the day that I was like, what the fuck is going on in this department? Like seeing it firsthand just was mind-boggling. Like straight up evil shit. Exorcist, demon, Satan stuff right there.
Yeah, and I would like to think that, we're pretty objective when it comes to assessing our work ethic and our friends. Like, me and Julian we're hard workers. I will give us that. But man, when you have a soul-sucking job, you just have to have derp, 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 derp moments.
Derp, derp, derp.
Derp, 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 derp. That's what we like to call them, because you're just gonna die. You're gonna wither and die in your cubicle if you don't, goof off every now and then. Not watch porn, just, build a castle.
But if you're going to watch porn, make sure you do it when you don't have a door.
Yeah. So someone can catch you.
We're not talking shit on porn. We're just saying that if you're going to do it, try not to do it in a building where young impressionable girls can walk in and see you doing it and staring at the face of what looks like the coworker.
Oh God, it was so bad.
It looked like you. Remember that? Let's go back to that. How that looked like you.
I feel like I need to go take a shower. Oh God.
It could be because this hot box has us sweating.
I'm so hot right now that my hands are clammy.
Your face is red. For some reason, I'm not as hot anymore, but my armpits are sweaty. Wait, let's see. Oh yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
God.
How are mine? Oh, you can. Oh yeah, no, mine are a little damp.
See it.
I know you guys wish you could totally see this right now.
We literally checked out each other's armpits.
We didn't sniff it though. Should we sniff it?
I am using a new deodorant. I can't really smell it. I got it. It's like a natural. It's a natural. Apparently, I found out there's a lot of cancer-causing agents in deodorants. I did not know that.
Well, looks like I'm dying.
Nobody told me. So yesterday, I was at a store and I found a like Cancer Society approved like deodorant, natural, not tested on animals, because I am a total freak about like buying shit that's not tested on animals. And this had like all the categories.
Yeah.
So I'm like, sweet, great. So it's the first day, like day one, but it didn't really stop the sweating. So
okay,
bad job.
Back to the animal testing thing though. It's 2016. Why are we still testing cosmetics on animals? Like, I'm the type of person that I don't really like that we test on animals at all, but I understand doing it for medical purposes. Just to take this on a very serious tangent. Sorry, guys, bear with me. I understand doing it for medical purposes, but to test fucking mascara? Are you serious? Like, really? We can't find some, like, convict who's, like, raped and molested children? Like, we have to use poor, innocent little beagles? Are you
That's
kidding
what
me?
I was gonna say. I am totally shipping the thought of doing it on convicted felons and, like, really shitty people.
Yeah, like, come on. That makes more sense than abusing an innocent animal that doesn't consent to it. Like,
So, yes, it's
Sorry.
really, if you guys are, like, animal cruelty-free product
Turn
people.
this off! Turn this off now!
No, like, if you, but, like, if you are the type that does like to buy cruelty-free stuff, you will understand. It is hard to find products that are not tested on animals. Like, I have to literally spend, like, 10 minutes in the shampoo aisle if I want to try a new shampoo to find a fucking shampoo that's not tested on adorable animals. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's bad.
Just, like, priorities, people. Oh, there's this one shampoo. I can't remember the name. I'll look it up and I'll tell you guys next episode because I'm sure you super care.
I know I do.
I think it's like Redmond, something Redmond is like the people that make it.
Redken? Redken.
No. Like Redmond something is the name of the company that makes the shampoo. And on the back of it is this picture of this founder. Like Ryan got in her shower the other day and he's like, why is there a fucking convict on the back of the shampoo bottle? It's like, that's like the founder. But what's cool about their company, why I like them, is like there's a story on the back of the bottle about how they don't test on animals. They test on their family. Like, so like they all try out their shit. Oh, at least allegedly, the bottle says. Who knows?
I would like to, for the record, tell you that I just tried to Google them and it brought up Redman, which is a rapper.
What? What?
Please Google this man because the picture is
oh my god,
terrifying.
Oh my god.
No offense, Redman, but damn, you need a better photographer.
No, like he's an attractive man in the
you're
normal
good-looking.
photos, but this one, he looks like a deranged half bunny man.
Yeah, it's very strange.
But like, look at the normal picture. Like some of the other normal pictures, he's handsome.
I don't really
But
see
that
a
one is
normal
straight
picture.
up.
Ooh,
that
he looks serious.
He's got this like, so his face is like taut. He's like sucking in his cheeks in this one. He's got his like beautiful diamond earrings and like, I'm pretty sure that's a headband.
I can't look at him. He's
That's a
staring.
headband.
He's staring into my soul.
It's like
Jolene.
it's like the Mona Lisa eyes. Where no matter where you move in the room,
They're
the eyes
at you.
follow you. Oh, look, I found the shampoo.
It's
Guys,
Ren Pure.
Ren Pure.
Not even close.
No, but I was saying the family who makes it is like Redmond family.
Okay.
Ren Pure.
Okay, yeah.
Coconut cream shampoo, cruelty free, and I actually really, really like the shampoo. And it's got a convict picture on the back. Says my fiance. So, if you like to stare at convicts while you bathe, definitely try it. It's reasonable. Look at this. Lubricates and protects hair strands. If you read descriptions for shampoo, it gets a little hot in there.
It's
a little dirty. Lubricates.
So I know that that's totally enthralling place to stop. I feel like we just need to stop while we're ahead.
Can't stop, won't stop.
Is there anything else you would like to add about shampoos and lubricants and sexual fantasies about convicts in the shower?
There is one thing I'd like to say, and that's fuck Ms. Hernandez.
Which is written on the wall inside our janky hotbox.
Our janky hotbox at the library.
So next podcast you're going to hear from us, it's going to say, hi, thanks for tuning into this week's Pizza Social. We are podcasting from a janky hotbox in the library.
If you guys have anything you'd like to hear us discuss, we'd love to hear from you. If you can leave a comment or email us or message us. Now, what is our email? We have a Twitter account. It's at Pizza Social Pod. Mm-hmm. So follow us there where you can get the latest updates. We are working on a website. It's coming soon. Hello. And our email is
I know it's pizzasocialpodcast@gmail.com. I think
pizzasocialpodcast@gmail.com.
It could be Pizza Social Pod. Damn it, I don't remember.
No, it's Pizza Social Podcast.
Okay, yeah, pizzasocialpodcast@gmail.com.
send us a message there, leave us a comment, tweet us, whatever. I'd love to hear what you guys have to think, suggestions, thoughts, or just random haikus.
Haikus are nice too. We also would like constructive criticism because honestly, like, I know I'm completely new to this whole podcasting thing, so I'm sure this first episode is just a giant clusterfuck. But hey, if you made it this far, we must have done something okay.
Or you figured out how to scroll to the end.
Which you are a genius and better than half of the retail customers we worked with.
So, alright, everybody have a really great week. We love you. Make good choices. Stay who you are.
Isn't it be safe, make smart choices, don't forget who you are?
Tell me how to live my life.